Hey everybody, Jim Powers with MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision, and crossover season is here. The baseball team opens up on the road this weekend after a terrific year last year. Joining us is their head coach, Pat Evers. And Pat, last year, terrific year for the baseball program. Tri-champions of the regular season, fell a little bit short in the conference tournament, but, a great nucleus of senior leadership coming back this year for you guys. Talk a little bit about the offseason and talk about some of the things that some of the guys that you're going to be looking forward to this year.
It's building off last year, which I think, in relative terms, obviously we have higher aspirations and we want our goals to be much larger than what we accomplished last year. But it was good. We lost a ton of great senior leadership from last year, and so obviously we've got 20 new faces on the roster here in 2020. So I think it's a great core group returning back between Wyatt Elby and even though Cody Siebenberger, Dominic Conley, he was a junior that was kind of been an anchor at shortstop the last couple of years. So still have a good core group back, and obviously we hope some of those newcomers make some large impacts here.
Talk a little bit about Siebes. Obviously, he's a guy that a lot of people remember from last year, 7-2. Really did a great job on the weekends for us. Ate up a lot of innings for us as well. Talk a little bit about him being that guy that's going to anchor the pitching staff, especially when we get into conference play in those weekend 3-game sets.
Yeah, Cody was looking back on it. I don't think we necessarily had ever a true number one last year. We had 3 starters that did a pretty good job for the weekend, and Cody was probably our most consistent one going through it, where you knew what to expect. And he's, it's what you expect a senior to be. He throws 3 or 4 pitches for a strike. He's going to compete. He's going to be in the zone. He's going to be able to throw multiple pitches for a strike. He's got a little bit of velocity kind of when he needs it, where he can kind of go up to different levels. So someone that's kind of really first year in a starting role, logging a significant amount of innings, and just he came bounced back. I think there's some things that he's gotten a little bit better at as far as with command-wise, consistency of the breaking ball over this past fall and going into the spring. So I think we're really excited about what he adds to going out there and leading out a pitching staff.
And the nice thing also is you got some guys that have come in that are going to be coming in this year that are new to the program. They're going to be able to add a lot of depth to that pitching staff.
Yeah. I think we have some freshmen that we really like that are going to add some more depth, and I think it was probably something last year's pitching staff probably we didn't, from a depth standpoint, we wanted to keep building it and getting it to grow, and I think we were able to add some of those pieces this year. And we've got a little bit of bad luck. There's some guys that are kind of banged up injury-wise early with nothing major that'll get back, whether it's getting back the second weekend or getting back at the end of February. But it's great early. We get to throw a lot of different guys out in some new roles and get their feet wet. And then also Caleb Huxford, who's a transfer that came in from St. Leo, that should be someone that can fit into that starting rotation and has ability to a couple dominant pitches and will definitely hold his own.
One of the big things, too, this year for you guys is going to be, the schedule, the GLVC schedule. Not as many midweek games as we had last year, some of the different changes there. Talk a little bit about, the preseason schedule, which I think is terrific. It's going to be some great regional matchups, and we were talking about that the other day. This is going to be pretty large for us on the regional side of things.
Yeah, I think, especially the month of February wasn't too kind to us last year. I think we went 1-9 through the month of February and got off to a really bad start, and obviously we're able to turn it around a little bit when it got to conference. But we looked at it as importance in looking back on it, where, hey, we were a team last year that was probably right outside of the bubble for a regional, and the work we did in February is really what put us behind the 8 ball. If we would have went 500, you go 5-5, you're looking at probably a different scenario, and you're playing another weekend longer into May. So this year I think trying to get off to a good start. Obviously, it's important. There's things that you battle being a Midwest team, and it's great having the turf, but it's still, hey, there's challenges weather poses to you at this time of year. But we've got some really quality opponents. I think we have to play the crossover challenge with MIAA going down to Joplin, opening up down in Union, and then having Mankato and Davenport, which are obviously some 2 very good programs coming down here. So I think we challenged ourselves, and we're excited about seeing what it looks like. I think it'll prepare us definitely for what we have to do in the GLVC.
I was just going to say, you look at some of the preseason prognosticators that have come out with stuff, obviously Bellarmine, Illinois Springfield, UND, the usual suspects at the top, in those preseason polls. But we were right there with them in every series last year.
Yeah. I think, if we had to go back through it, I think there's a lot of stuff you can look at, even our last weekend in Southern Indiana, which we got swept, but I think it was each 3 of those games we kind of had a lead in it, and whether we found a way or they did a really good job as far as coming back. I think going to the weekend, I don't think there was going from just as competitive the league speaks to is for who's at the top and who's at the bottom. I don't think there's a whole lot of that separates it. And I think you could see from the teams that made the postseason last year where we might have finished tied for first, but between first and that 8th spot or that 9th spot where Indy was on the outside looking in, it was separated by a handful of games. So, I think the non-conference and the month leading up to it is doing great to prepare ourselves just because it doesn't matter who you really play in conference. What you're able to find out is, hey, it's 2 out of 3 games, and it's a really small things that make a difference.
No doubt about it. Well, good luck this weekend opening things up down at Union, and we'll talk to you next week as you get ready to head down to Joplin.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jim.
Pat Evers joins us. The team will open up 3-game series down in Jackson, Tennessee. They'll take on Union starting on Friday. You'll be able to follow the action. We'll have the link for their video stream up on our website, MaryvilleSaints.com. If you can't watch there, follow us on Twitter at Maryville Saints. Keep you updated all weekend long on how the baseball team is opening up the 2020 season down in Jackson, Tennessee against Union. For Coach, I'm Jim Powers. Thanks so much for tuning in to MaryvilleSaints.com and Saints Vision. Have a great week. And as always, go Saints.